Oh my god, this is so valuable. I got medicine in my hands right here. Uh-oh. Look how much dandelion I harvested. This is not all of it. I have another bunch, maybe even bigger than this, inside. So come and join me while I figure out a dandelion adventure. I mean, I may have broken off some of the roots, but I still have a huge amount. Look at this. Next thing I'm gonna do is chop all the roots off so I can clean them, and yeah, so I need to chop off the roots because we're doing the roots separately from the other stuff. We're not gonna combine them all together. The roots will take more time to dry as well, so yeah. Unfortunately, when I was plucking these out, I accidentally plucked it a bit hard and some of the roots broke off, but then I started to learn and see what I did. Like, this one is like perfect. Look at this. Look at the roots. How cool is that, right? I need a stool. Let me go get a stool. Now, I think the camera doesn't know what to focus on. So anyway, as I prepare this dandelion root, I shall chatter with you. So I'm just chopping off the root. I'm really excited because I've heard so much things about dandelion roots and how you can roast them for tea, and guess what? Every time I've harvested dandelions, I think I'm like harvesting the great stuff, right? I just pick a bunch of leaves and I'm like, oh whoops, I forgot that you need to use dandelion, the roots, not the leaves. So I'm like, okay, damn it, that was a bust. So, and then other times I've gotten stuff that's not dandelion, as in cat's tail. I know it's so similar, that's probably, you can probably use it for the same thing, but you know, it's like, it's not the same. It needs to be dandelion. Ah! I am still cutting the roots. I love the roots. It reminds me of the roots remind me of when I'm watching these shows, like they have the ginseng, you know, the human form or something where they're magical and they're running around and they've got like a thing. This is what it reminds me of. Crazy how I think of that when I'm like doing this, right? There's so much dirt everywhere. But you know what? That's cool because you want dirt. It feels like it's you're working. It feels like it's natural. You know what I mean? You want to feel natural when you're doing this dandelions because you don't want to feel like it's not natural. I don't even know what I'm saying. Excuse me, you'll have to excuse me. I'm just babbling and I somehow plucked a piece of grass, which I will have to chuck. And my cats are completely enthralled by this. Look, you can see them in the background checking everything out. They're like, what's going on? What's going on here? So this is how much roots I've got so far, and I still have a huge amount to go. Unfortunately, there aren't as many flowers because most of the flowers are like in between flowering and seeding. So, like, I just love this one. This is like the iconic dandelion root, right? This is just so cool, right? Oh yeah. I don't even have the heart to cut this because it looks so cute. The root just looks so nice. How could I just cut a thing like this, right? Look at this giant block. Like, these dandelions were just growing all over the floor. Like it's a place that's close to, you know, where I went today. There's this upward hill, and Upward Hill is where you go to Bunnings, which is like a hardware Home Depot kind of store. And yeah, whenever I walked past last time I wanted to harvest this, they mowed it, so couldn't find a single one, sadly. Actually, I found one, but this time it must have been like a few weeks, and it's grown so much. Like, look at this. Look at this. This is what you call dandelion roots. Oh my god, this is so valuable. I got medicine in my hands right here. Medicine! Oh dear. Ouch! I think I just got stabbed by something. What the hell was that? What just stabbed me? Some kind of prickly thing in there. Ouch. Be careful when you're dealing with dandelions. It might stab you if you're not careful. Okay, I'm running out of room to put all this stuff, and there's still so much over here. Okay, there's another lot of roots. Like, we have all the roots right here. I should put it right here so you can actually see. I got more over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all the leaves back in the bag so I can process it later. I guess I can dry it, maybe? I don't know. I'll look it up later. I'll look it up. See, everything's a journey. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just doing it for the first time. So, like, I'm not like an expert. Obviously, I wouldn't do well in the show expert or liar, because I'd be lying. It's like, I don't even know what I'm doing. You know, it's actually, I know this is completely off topic, but I just saw this wine. Okay, Lucas took the label off of this. But, it's funny because yesterday my mum came. She always comes on the weekend to bring us some food. It was really sweet of her. But anyway, she came with a bottle of wine. I was like, oh, obviously, because my mum doesn't drink, right? She doesn't drink. So I was like, which friend gave you the wine? Like, which friend gave you all this wine? Like, because she usually has never brought wine over. So she was like, I'll tell you this story. You know, your father really, you know, my stepdad, but anyway, your father really likes all kinds of alcohol. I want to know what this fuss is, so I went to buy every type of, well, not every, but like 15 or 20 different types of wine so I can taste them for myself to see why he likes them so much. And I come to discover that I really, really hate it. It tastes awful. It's like I had to close my nose and drink it. And then she's like, I'll just bring them over to me. Because, you know, she knows I'm not going to go crazy drinking. I only drink a tiny little bit each day because I have a very low alcohol tolerance. But it's just so funny because I was totally thinking that she like her friend gave it to her or something. That's why she brought it over, because usually if she has like really exotic type of foods that is not usually stuff that she would get, I would assume that her friends give it to her. But but it was just so funny because I was like, when do you drink wine? She's not a drink. She's never drunk. I've never seen her ever with wine. So it's so funny. Like, I cannot believe it. And you know, it's funny because she's like, oh, you know, you remember the name of the wine, so you know what to not buy next time in case you want to like wine, and don't get this one because this is the worst tasting one. She brought me the worst tasting one, of course. And also, did you know that babies, I know this is completely irrelevant to anything, but babies have the ability to tell the difference between two identical looking gorillas. And as I said, it's a life. I wish I had that power, because it's a lifelong dream of mine to be able to tell the difference between two gorillas. Yes. Okay. Anyway, back to cutting the roots. I think I've got almost all of them. I'll look up later, like what to do with dandelion leaves, and then I will figure it out. Isn't it good that I got so much roots out of this? Like, I was worried that I might not have enough, but look at this. This is more than enough for a lifetime. Well, not a lifetime, but more than enough for a very long time. I'm so excited because I love dandelion. I've always loved it. I hate it when people are like, oh, I just want to kill all the weeds. It's like dandelions are like the best thing ever. Why would anyone want to get rid of dandelions? If I see a dandelion, I'm like, oh, you precious thing. So I can't understand the whole, like, wanting to get rid of dandelions. I mean, I can understand wanting to get rid of the dandelion copies, you know, copy clones or whatever that's similar that maybe. But I love cat's tail. Cat's tail is the one that's the closest to dandelion, I think. It has rounder leaves. I know I've eaten them before and they're really tasty. I love cat's ears. I think they're probably very close to dandelion. They're probably like, I bet the roots have similar properties, but yeah. But there are some weeds that I don't, you know, like look like dandelion lookalikes that I probably wouldn't use, but I really like the dandelions. So I will never understand anyone trying to get rid of them. They're awesome. So look at this. Look at all this precious roots, right? Now my job is to wash them because I don't want all this dirt to be you know, following me into when I'm trying to dry them. So I will wash them and get rid of the excess dirt on this cutting board. But yeah, I'm gonna wash them right now. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to wash out as much of the dirt as possible, and then I will cut them in smaller pieces and put them in the dehydrator to dry them. It's pretty much clean. I mean, don't be fooled by the blackness of this root. It's actually just like this. It's not dirt. So now I'm going to just chop them into smaller pieces, like equal sort of smaller pieces, so I can put them in the dehydrator with ease, because you don't want one piece to, you know, dehydrate faster than others. So yeah, I'm going to just chop them all up. Wow, I never realized dandelion root is... Ooh, there's a very interesting smell to it. I'm gonna keep the little, like, these roots as well as the thick ones. It's so exciting. I'm like, this is the first time, like, you'll have to excuse my excitement. This is literally the very first time I've ever worked with dandelion roots. I mean, in the past, I've collected a few cat's tails or whatever, dandelion roots, and I've probably just put the dandelion root on some jar to dry and then forget about it. This is the first time I've actually had enough to really do something with it. So I am just over the moon. And also because I have that that other dehydrator that I got, so I could actually put it in the dehydrator. So this is so damn exciting. Look at this. How beautiful is that, right? In the past, I've only ever collected this much. Like, this is the most I ever collected in the past, so I wasn't really able to do much about it because, you know, the problem when you're, like, growing your own crops is if you don't have enough space, the issue often is that you have little harvests that you can't really do much at once. You have to slowly build up, and like asparagus, that's a really good example. Sometimes one asparagus pops up and I harvest it. You can't really leave it for too long, otherwise it becomes really hard and impossible and you can't chew it and it becomes like leaves, right? So you have to harvest it. But when you only have one asparagus, it's like, what dish can you make with one asparagus, right? So I'm like struggling with figuring out how to cook with one asparagus, and often I just end up not using it because I can't figure out, like, I just don't want to make salmon and asparagus with one asparagus. I don't know, there's just something really weird about that. So that's the problem I've had with a small yard. But what I try to do, I guess, is grow more greens, because with a small yard, if you don't have too much room, and I make the mistake every year to buy a lot of fruit trees when they're young and small and really cute, and, you know, like you buy 30 fruit trees and think, oh, they're so cute and compact. A year later, they're like tripled in size, and suddenly I ran out of room, and I'm like, how'd that happen? Every year I go through this. Every year I go crazy in winter. I want to do all the freaking gardening because the weather is nice. Who doesn't want to do gardening in winter? Because, like, in where I live, it's actually really warm in winter, so I just want to be outside. In winter, I'm like, love being outside because the sun is so warm and lovely. So it's like, I feel really lucky to be in a place where it's not cold to be outside, because I know in the past I've been in places where it's really cold to even go outside. So yeah, I love gardening in winter, but in summer it's like, ugh, too hard to like actually do anything. So in summer I want to sell all my plants, in winter I want to buy all the plants back, and therefore I never have any plants that actually do anything because I keep buying and selling them. That's really bad, isn't it? Like, you know, if I had some patience, I'd probably bear a lot more fruit. And I don't even mean that as a metaphor, I mean it literally. Oh jeez. It's funny because like there are some trees that I bought, maybe my third or fourth one, and every time it gets big I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with this because it's usually like hot and I just can't get it out of the pot, and it's like outgrown its pot, so I'm like, oh, get rid of it. So my first instinct is to get rid of the plant rather than, oh, let's like just do something. But then again, my yard is pretty small, so can't exactly do too much, even though I would love to. I love to fill my yard with fruit trees everywhere, because like my dream is to just have this yard like that looks like a really cute little cottage yard with flowers and roses that cover the fence, because I love roses so much. And I would love to have like apple trees, peach blossoms, pear blossoms, apple blossoms, all sorts of things, because flowers are just so beautiful, right? I just want them all. Like, I keep buying the trees, and then when I sell them, I always sell them for very little because I just can't be bothered to deal with them. So I'm like, take them all, just take them all. So yeah, that is my garden dilemma, is that I just want more than what my space can handle. I have this friend who lives really close to me who also loves plants. Like, how cool is that? Like, when was the last time I found a friend that had the same interest that wasn't in school? You know, it just feels like as you get older, it's harder to make friends. So this is so wonderful. Like, I just love sharing my plants. We share plants all the time, and it's just so fun because we also love herbs and stuff. So we'll grow herbs, swap it, share it, you know, go harvest together. Or, you know, I'm not harvest, I mean go like, what's that word when you're wild foraging together? Like, it's just so much fun. It's just so cool. Use the scrunched up paper towels that my mum gives me. I use paper towels, which comes very handy when you want to dry stuff with paper towels. Like, this is really good. Paper towels are fantastic when you want to dry stuff that's wet. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to dry this root with the paper towels as much as possible so they're not like wet with water, since I just washed them. This goodness, like, don't you love the way that the dandelion roots look? I love it. I just think it's so amazing. It looks so cool. I never realized that when you cut open the dandelion roots, that's what it looks like. It legit like makes me think it's like ginseng. It's so cool. It's like every time I think of that, I just think of like herbs that people are searching for because it makes people live 1,000 years. That's what I think of when I see these. These are dried pretty well. Like, I mean, not dried as in like I don't have to put them in the dehydrator, but just dried with a paper towel as well as I could. I'm gonna just put them in there so I can transfer them into the dehydrator. So I'm just gonna spread it. The problem sometimes is that the holes are very large, so it tends to go through the hole, which is okay because you can still go and get it. Like, there's not too much on this, so I can probably just put them in all in one slot. I don't have to like put it in like 5 different things. So yeah, I have them all spread out. Try to spread them out as evenly as possible so they're not like on top of each other. I'm gonna roast them. I mean, they need to be roasted. I'm not gonna worry about setting the temperature too low. 10 temperature. All right, I put it at 70 degrees Celsius. I mean, it's pretty high, but I really don't think that's gonna matter because I have to roast this anyway, so Yeah. Just been doing some research on dandelion greens. Apparently, to get rid of the bitter taste, boil them, and apparently they'll be very tasty. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna blanch them first. Not for too long because I don't want like the greens to turn yellows. But yeah, I'm gonna saute them. So I'm gonna show you the whole process of how I saute my dandelions with garlic, onions. Just finished washing all these greens. Look at this. Look at this greens. I need to get my stool back so I can actually sit down and do this. Yes, now they're doing the greens. Well, I'm gonna get rid of the flowers first because a lot of the flowers are like seed heads. So I don't want to be like putting those in the thing because I kind of want to save the seeds so I can grow some dandelions around here. This part is not going to taste so good, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I won't cook that in it. Like usually when you're cooking greens, I like to get rid of a lot of this part because they're usually really like hard and hard to eat. So yeah, I'm going to just cut them so I could cook them easier. This reminds me of the spinach. They also have a lot of these kind of root heads. I have cooked dandelion greens before, so this is not the first time. I'm definitely not doing it out of my ass. As in, like, I'm definitely not doing it like blindly, like not knowing what I'm doing. I've cooked this before, but this is the first time that I've ever decided to boil it because in the past I kind of just tolerated the bitterness. I mean, it's not the best, but when I read that there's a way to get rid of it to make it really tasty, that I'm like, oh, I'm all in. Here I have all my dandelion greens all washed and all ready. Once the water boils, I'm just going to put it in. It's good because that'll also boil away some of the remainder of the dirt that's in there that I didn't really wash clearly. Garlic and onion, I'm going to chop it up and fry it with that. If you have garlic and onion, garlic, especially garlic, that should be used in every cooking. Every cooking needs garlic because garlic just makes everything taste so good. Except when you're pregnant, then you probably hate it. You probably smell like rotten diarrhea to you. That actually happened to me. But anyway, garlic is delicious. It smells so good. Except Lucas doesn't like it. Of course, like I find in these type of dishes, I find chopping them as tiny as possible make it really good because they just end up really bringing flavors into the dish. Something really important I do want to remind you when you're doing your dandelion is to be careful with places that you get them from. Make sure you look for a place that has not been sprayed because my mum has tried to eat like weeds that she's sprayed years ago and she's gotten sick or she feels sick after eating it. So yeah, I do want to taste the water to see if it's bitter. Like I'm legit actually curious. You want the garlic to brown a bit before the garlic and the onions to brown before you add in the greens, because once the greens are in, it's going to be a lot of water and garlic don't brown as easily when there's water. I'm going to just let it dry a little and I'm going to chuck it into the oil. Add some salt, sesame oil, hopefully I don't knock it over again. I'm adding a bit of fish sauce and I'm just going to turn it off. It's already done. You don't need to overcook it. Okay, you definitely need to blanch it for a bit longer because mine is still a little bit bitter, but it's tolerable. Dandelion greens, how good is that, eh? And that's how you get free greens. Been about an hour and a half and this root is already dried because I put it on very high. In the dehydrator I put it on 70 degrees, which is usually I put it on 35, so as you can see, it dried really quickly. Otherwise, it would take 10 hours. I didn't really want it to take that long, but now I'm going to put it in the oven in about 176.66. I'll just put it in between 200 and 150 Celsius. I'm just gonna roast it for about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna spread it out, roast it for 15 minutes, and then it'll be ready to jar. I should really put this in the middle. Okay. I'm putting it on my pizza tray because I can't find another clean oven tray. All done. Roasted. There we go. Ah, there's a delicious smell to it once it's roasted. It's so good. If you put it in when it's hot, it will like create vapor as it cools down, and then the jar becomes wet and you don't want any moisture, so let it cool first before you put it in the jar, and then it'll be ready to go. I love this. It looks so good and smells so nice too. What you don't want is the dandelion root to like have moisture and then it goes in the jar and then it'll rot. So that's why it's best to cool it down. Oh my god. I've never realized that roast dandelion smells so good.